What if I never make a mistake? What if I'm that person that refuses to admit when I've made a mistake? It's always on you and I have someone to blame. If I never admit that I am making a mistake or have mistakes or I'm human, then I never have to change anything. I don't have to do the work. I can pretend like it's not there, and I'm basically lying. Like, I basically just don't look at it and it's not there. So admitting a mistake is big in recovery, and it takes practice. Like, all this stuff takes practice. I find as quick as possible is the best way. And they say that in the books and they say that in the meetings. And it's true. Like, the faster that I just rip that Band-Aid off and get to work, the better. It makes other people feel safer. It puts me in a better position to be honest. Admitting my mistakes and admitting that my failings and seeing where I fell short and owning that means I'm going to work on the work that I have to do. I'm going to change something. It means I care. If I remain closed off and I'm never having any mistakes and I'm not admitting anything, it's basically everyone else's fault, which is just a form of living like everyone is to blame. And if it's everyone else's fault and everyone else needs to change, then that's a bit of victimhood as well. So when I can be quick about it and I can just admit that mistake and I can own it, I'm feeling uncomfortable because the spotlight's on me, and I'm scared because what are they going to do? Now I've just admitted to some truth. The scary thing is that it just is uncomfortable to admit to things. It is uncomfortable to admit that I made a mistake. But that if I don't admit to anything and I don't admit to my mistakes, I'm never going to heal. I'm never going to get better. I'm never going to move past those things that I tripped on. When I am honest and I'm taking my action and I'm pushing myself through that uncomfortableness and I'm owning my mistake, I'm going to get that reciprocation from people. People are going to feel more cared for. People are going to feel more seen. I'm showing that I'm taking myself down a little bit. I'm not being so entitled. I'm just saying, here I am. I have faults as well. I'm failing at situations and at things, and that's okay. I'm learning how to pick myself back up, and I'm learning how to love myself. Faster, the better. When I was in a codependent relationship and being a codependent that hadn't started on my recovery yet, it was very difficult to have that. And even out there today, to me, that's just a red flag. Like, if someone's having a hard time with admitting mistakes, or even if I'm having a hard time admitting mistakes, the first thing I would think about is, what am I so scared of? Like, what am I so scared of that I have to hide my truth, that I have to hide that I made a mistake? Am I worried about a loss? Am I worried about someone's feelings? Am I worried they're not going to like me? Am I worried about rejection? Now I made a mistake, so now it's over. Sometimes if, from childhood, if it was an extreme reaction for making mistakes and it wasn't a safe place to make mistakes, then it would make sense that I would clam up. I would close up because it was too scary to fail. It was the bar was too high. It was too scary to be there. So as a little child, I just closed up. I want to be perfect. I don't want to make mistakes. So that can happen. Like, that perfectionism and not having a safe place to fall and fail and make mistakes, that leads me into adulthood where I'm not going to be able to admit those things very easily. And if I can't admit my mistakes, like how am I going to have healthy relationships? How can I need relationships to live. I need people to heal. I need empathy. But if there's situations happening, but it's always someone else's fault, then there's not that bridge. There's no way to, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And this is, there's no way to do that. It's just always the other person's work to do. And that can create great divide. And, being in a relationship, I've been in many, many codependent relationships. And so speaking from experience, it is difficult. Like it is banging your head against the wall, trying to make someone see that doesn't want to see. And as a codependent that was working through this stuff in my relationships, if they don't want to look and see, I either need to love them right where they are and let it go. But me trying to make them admit their mistake, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I tried that and it was very exhausting. And even if it did come out a little bit, those words might have been there, but the action still kept happening. So it's so healthy and helpful and loving to be a person of fault in a relationship, to be vulnerable and admit things and go down to that level of I'm kind of human too. And I'm sorry that hurt you. And, or I, I didn't realize, and this is what this is like. And admitting that mistake means that other person's oh, okay, I see, you see, you're telling me, I can feel safer, I can relax a little bit. And, since we're both on the same page now, we can move forward. But when one person is not having any mistakes, they're not admitting anything, it gets pretty lonely. And it feels very unsafe. Because if I'm having a situation and I'm telling my partner, this and this happened, and say it was their mistake. And this is my experience where I couldn't get the answer out of this person. And it was their harm. And then it was my hurt. So my journey. And in that codependent relationship, I would try to talk to them about the harm that they did, but they never had any harm. They never made a harm. The harm wasn't there. And it was just this, it put it all back on me where it was it felt like it was my problem. It felt like it was I was delusional. I felt pushed away. I felt closed off. I felt alone. I felt well, now what do? I do think what happened. I do feel my feelings, but I was always put in that position of questioning myself and wondering why can't we both see the same truth? Did my truth not happen? But this did happen. But then that person was always just saying that it didn't happen. So not being able to admit mistakes in a relationship is so damaging. I got to get to a place where I have to be able to admit to my partner that I made a mistake. And for me, when I was, I can tell, I can see my choices when they come to me. I could lie or I could tell the truth. And it's my choice what I want to do. And when I was first practicing this, I was it's way easier and tempting to just lie. And it's I feel way more insecure and yucky when I got to say the truth about admitting my mistake. So I went, well, it's the yucky, scary thing, so it's probably the thing I have to do. But I'm very tempted and want to do the lie because I could just get away with it. Why not? Just get away with it. It's not there. It didn't happen. This whole thing is just over. It's just a way to just end this. And I can be free of it, but that I'm not really free. It's the thing that happened still happened. So I started to choose to admit my mistakes and I find the longer I let that wait, the harder it is to admit the mistake. Like, it gets heavier, and then I don't want to do it. And then I'm overthinking. And then, you know what, now it's just way too far, then who cares? Let's let that go out to sea. So I found when I let it get too far away, when the thing I have to admit gets too far away, it gets too heavy. And then now that's a burden. Now I have this burden in my life. I have this lie. I have this, I have this weight, and I don't have truth, and there's freedom in the truth. So, and how's that going to help me have a healthy and loving relationship when I'm carrying this thing that this person doesn't admit? When I'm so scared to be myself and have mistakes, how healthy is that? So I found when I try to keep that thing a little closer to, oh, it's happened. I feel awful. I don't like this. I'm going to have to make myself look bad by telling the truth that I made a mistake. But you know what? It's so much better doing it as fast as possible. It's so much better to just get it out. And I know that I might get a reaction or mad, or someone might leave, or they're not going to like me, or what are they going to think now? And, now the image of me is different. Sure, I got to get used to feeling all that. I got to get used to, yeah, that's what I'm going to go through. I'm going to go through all that uncomfortableness. But people appreciate that. Every time that someone has admitted something fast in my life that I've noticed, I'm like not mad anymore. But when someone doesn't admit something, like doesn't admit their mistake, I stay mad because my body knows there's a lie in the air. My body knows that wasn't right. And so I can go jump into my own denial and be like, yeah, whatever, and make an excuse. Like, I guess so. I guess that's how it went, or not really. But, I could go there. But when someone does admit their mistake, it's like a wave of relief. It's almost easier to just be like, okay, let's be done with it. Like, it's over. It's almost over for both people. Like, it's togetherness. It's, you're accountable. Well, I feel a bit safer now because of that. I appreciate that a bit more. It's honest. It's like honest met with honest. It doesn't have to be that. It's not like, oh, it's bad and you're going to, get shamed. It's just that there's such an appreciation for that honesty, even though it's not pretty. Honesty trumps it all. Like, it's awesome. So it's way easier to just move on with your life when two people are admitting their mistakes, admitting the thing that happened, get on the same page, get on the same truth, work together on what's going to happen next. And if I want to have a life where I want to get through that hard thing of learning how to admit mistakes, when I do it quick, it's just out in the open, it's ready for repair. But when I hold it in and I lie or deny or shift and blame, then I'm holding that big weight. And if it gets too far away from me, it gets so much harder to change and bring it back. It gets bigger and heavier. And I don't want that kind of burden in my life. I want to put fires out. I see the fire, I want to put the fire out. I just want to get on top of it. This is signs of low self-esteem as well. Like, as a person that was in more low self-esteem before and in a codependent relationship with two people with low self-esteem, and all of those codependent patterns of like compliance, avoidance, controlling, it was so difficult to have that healthy relationship because of all the different things that our codependency needed. So in a healthy relationship, it's quick to admit. And I first heard that in AA, and it takes out the blaming. It takes out the excuses and the justifying. It's just coming in as I am, that I did the thing I did that I'm not proud of, and letting everything else fall wherever it's going to fall. Like, let that truth come out. Let's see what happens. Does that person not like me anymore? Like, I'm going to face that. Is that person going to get mad at me? Like, yep, I'm going to see that. I'm going to face that. I'm going to feel that. I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to feel not very proud of myself. But I'm living a new life now. I'm living to be honest. I have to work at this. I pull the Band-Aid off, and when I do that over and over, it's not hard anymore. It's just hard at the beginning. And I got to just stick to it. So this is just how admitting mistakes is so harmful in relationships. And in a relationship I was in that was really codependent, I felt so alone in that relationship. And one of my other codependency traits was like I wanted that safety from that person. I wanted them to change. I wanted them to just start admitting their mistakes. And I needed that thing. Like, codependency is kind of like a needy thing too. It's like I'm needing that thing from them to be okay. And so I'm needing them to admit their mistake. And I would just burn my energy out. And then I would feel so alone, and I would like want that safety. And, I had to get to a point where I would just leave the conversation at the floor. Like, they're not admitting, they don't see, I'm accepting them that that's where their awareness is at. And now what do I do to take care of myself? I can only try to admit the things that I can quickly, but if someone else is not admitting, I have to leave that alone. I have to either be patient and let them be and learn their recovery, or I don't want to be in that relationship anymore. But I don't stay expecting it to be different. I have to let them be. So I let them be. I made different choices in my life. And I'm learning these signs of low self-esteem, and not being able to admit mistakes right away is definitely a sign of low self-esteem. And even for me, like, when I feel that sting and burn of like, I don't want to say I did this, I don't want to look like a failure or bad. Like, when I feel that inside myself, it's like, I just got to like close both eyes and just like go for it. Like, I have to just go through it. It's just going through feeling not so great and still loving myself on the other side of it. Like, still loving myself through my mistakes, admitting them to get to what can we do next? Like, feel, and then what's the action? What's the healthy action? And even, it's beautiful when people admit their mistakes to you. Like, it's something that I always craved from that person. I don't care if they make a lot of mistakes. If someone's admitting the mistakes and they're making a lot of mistakes, it just washes things away. Like, oh, I didn't pull the car out that day like I was supposed to, like I said I would. There's something to work with. Like, hey, you know what? I'll do it right now. Like, that's so much more easier to forgive. And it still creates a place for that relationship to keep growing. Like, I can still have lots of mistakes and grow, but if I'm having no mistakes, then A, I'm not growing, and B, I'm not helping my relationship that I could possibly be in. So it's lose-lose. So I love to see when people admit their mistakes. And I work at admitting my own, and I try to do it as fast as possible. Even when it's so uncomfortable and crummy, I try not to do it. But it's a hard thing to practice and do because I have to look bad. All the attention is on me for the thing that I did. But it bridges over to that other person. And when I'm bridging over to the other person, I'm making a connection, even if I'm not okay with the thing I did. So it's part of just like being human and that beautifulness of being human and being imperfect together, making mistakes and talking about them. And then they're smaller. It's washed away quicker. But that thing that happened, say it's a mistake or whatever, that thing that happened, when it doesn't get talked about and admitted, it just grows and it stays there. And that other person always knows. And that just like eventually turns into resentment. because people know, people feel, and they're, and you want that connection. Like I wanted to talk about the truth together, and that helps me feel more connected with people. So having a higher sense of self and like becoming stronger and loving of self means I still love myself if I have a mistake. I still matter if I have a mistake, if I make one. My self-worth doesn't go down because I make mistakes. I'm still okay if I admit it. It's just, I'm back to my peace a lot quicker if I can just get to admitting right away. Get it out, get it over with. It's so much better that way. And it's so much more respected and invited. And then both people can just move forward because you're right on the same page. And it's so much nicer to be there. So thank you for listening. And I hope that helps someone. And yeah, it's the way to go for me. So I hope that's the way to go for you.